Hi everybody, welcome back to What's Mikey's Trip. I hope everybody's good. All my subscribers, thank you so much, you guys. I so much appreciate it. Welcome back to the program. This is my one survival story of where I got stuck in the snowy mountains. I was airlifted out almost. So I wake up in Venice at home. I'm at the beach. I turn the TV on. The whole Mojave, I don't know, 2010, I'm not sure. The whole Mojave covered with all the way from Palmdale to Las Vegas, covered with snow, like 2 or 3 feet. So boom, it's like 6 in the morning, boom. By 8:30, I'm turning off the 14. I grab all my stuff. I'm turning off the 14 by 8. I just head dead east, and it's freaking beautiful. There's hardly any snow on the ground. There's wind. It's kind of calm, and I'm just flying. I get to the 395, I pass it. I keep going, oh, I'm having fun. I go a certain amount of distance out past east of the 395. Oh, I'm having so much fun. I'm like, my car is like a pair of skis. And like there's this big chaparral, but there's like 3 or 4 feet of snow on it. I'm like berming off of it with my Bronco 2, just having the greatest time till about 9:30 in the morning, 10 o'clock, when I realize, oh my God, I'm so far out and it's drying out. Like in a moment, it's drying out. We're not used to this here. I didn't know. It's freaking drying out. Whoa, I could do a full-on, whoa, earthquake. Oh my God, it's an earthquake, you guys. Just kidding. Level? Okay. I'm like, oh no. I immediately turn around, start heading out, which I wasn't paying attention. It wasn't out. It was parallel to the 395. I'm going and going and going. Everything's giant, turning into a giant pool. There's these giant pools. So it's all covered with snow, but the middle of the road is all turned into giant pools. Like 20 feet, 80 feet, 200 feet. Just a pool of water. I'm driving out. Here comes the first pool. I'm like, I'm not going to make it. Can I go to the right? No. I got to try and make it. I don't make it. I'm like this. My Bronco's like this. And the water, okay, it's like that. And the water is above the... See, I almost made it out, but I didn't. The water is covering my exhaust pipe. It's 2 in the afternoon. It's about 1 or 2 in the afternoon. I'm stuck. I'm like, I gotta try and get out. Right? I gotta try and get out. So, boom. I gotta try and get out. Ooh, level up. I gotta try and get out. Okay, I finally make the decision, which is really important to make that decision quickly, that I'm spending the night here. Okay, this was before I was totally prepared to spend the night. So I'm tripping a little bit, but I'm stuck. Okay, so there's about maybe 2 50-gallon drums of water, maybe 1.5 50-gallon drums of water in this hole that I'm stuck in. So I'm stuck here, and the hole's like here. I almost got out of it, but I'm at an angle. And the back is sinking in the mud a little bit. And I'm like, oh my God, the exhaust pipe's covered. So I'm like, okay, great. Okay, so first thing I do, I decide I'm staying. I have a block of nutrient food. I have a block of food that I never used in the back. Eat a quarter of a thing every 2 or 4 hours, whatever. Okay, that was good. I had a little bit of water. Okay, so I built a fire, and I took my 1-gallon jug and hung it above it, because you can melt the water that way, no problem. Okay, then I dug out as much water as I could out of the hole. But the thing was, I took my 1-gallon jug and cut the top off, and I went gallon by gallon, okay? Because it's like 2 feet deep. And I'm going gallon by gallon. And I can't just throw it. I have to lean and throw, because I see I'm throwing it, but the hill's too high. It's all just coming back in. So I have to dig and lean and throw it out. Okay, so I'm throwing and throwing and throwing. I get a lot of the water out. And I'm seeing I'm in big trouble. I'm in big trouble. I'm like, okay, and then I'm like panicking. And what my main objective was to clear up the exhaust pipe, right? The water was over the exhaust pipe. I brought all the water out. I could almost see the bottom of the tire and what the problem was. Almost. Not quite. I cleared up the exhaust pipe because I knew all I had was tennis shoes. Okay, bad idea. I knew all I had to do was be able to start the engine, warm up the engine, dry my shoes and socks. I got my rain gear, I got my jackets, I got my emergency blanket, I got everything in the back. I'm gonna be warm. It was 26 degrees that night. I was sweating. That emergency blanket was just dripping on me all night. I was sweating in there. Okay, so I get up in the morning, I make the call. No, I get up in the morning till like noon, I can't get out. I'm not getting out. Because every single bush, there's no chaparral. Every single bush is a spiny bush with all the spines on it. If you know, it's the only other bush. All there is out here is chaparral, and these other bushes, they're just spines all over them. They pop all my tires in 5 seconds. I couldn't use it. There's nothing else around. I've walked a 16th, a 32nd of a mile to get these big blocks of like hard sand rocks that I put under my back of my Broncos tires in Death Valley at 107 degrees in the bottom of Death Valley, trying to get out of sand before and getting out. Finally, I make the call. I'm like, Mike, you gotta make the call. I make the call and I go, this is where I am, blah, 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 da, da, da. And she was really cool. I'm like, I'm lost in the middle of nowhere. She says, well, we don't want you to be lost in the middle of nowhere. Where are you? She was really cool. She really set me at ease. And she sent the sergeant in his Suburban to get me. And I only had 60% signal on my old phone. She said, that's a 40 by 40 square mile area, so they have a lot of area to cover, but the chopper's looking for you. It's gonna be a couple hours, but they'll get to you. All of a sudden, okay, boom, I see the chopper way over there. It's going like this, and then at one moment it comes right at me, and I stand there like this. The international sign of yes, the big Y, like, yes, it's me. They go around me, they say, are you injured? Do you need water? No, I'm good. They say, okay, the sergeant is over there at the interstate. It's 9 miles, they say. We're gonna go find a way for him to get to you. It's gonna be a couple hours. Okay, thank you. They leave. The sergeant pulls up. He's 200 feet away. He ain't even thinking about pulling my vehicle. He's just getting me out of there. I'm like, oh, great. Oh, great. We drive out. He takes me to the truck stop. I call the tow truck. The tow truck comes. It's this kind of big flatbed, dumb tow truck. He wants to take, I'm like, you're not going to make it. Oh, I'll make it. You're not going to make it. Oh, I'll make it. Oh, I don't think so. He drives 8 miles out, makes a right, sees the road, says, I'm not going to make it. And I was like, oh, really? Good one. He's driving me back. He says, you can get the Hummer. I can get the Hummer, but it's going to be $600 altogether. You got to pay the $300 for this and the $300 for the Hummer. I'm like, I got the $300 for the Hummer. Let's go get the Hummer, bro. I'll give you $50 extra. No. He takes me back to the truck stop and says, dude, you got $200-300. Get one of these kids in this big trucks. They'll love it to go pull you out. The police officer told me, great, San Bernardino County Sheriff Rescue. This guy, sergeant in a Suburban. This guy was so cool. He's like, if you have a problem, before he dropped me off at the truck stop, he dropped me off in the police car. He says, if you have a problem, you call me back, and I'll get you to a hotel. We don't want you stuck here tonight. I'm like, okay, cool. So I walk around in the truck stop for a minute, and then boom, I'm getting on the phone going, I'm about ready to say, come and get me. I'm done. All of a sudden, this lady walks up. It's the cable guy's wife. This lady walks up. She's walking through saying, who's stuck? Who's stuck? Who's stuck? I'm like, I'm stuck. She's like, come on. Me and my husband go pull you out. I'm like, whoa, 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 lady. hold on. I'm 8 miles out, and then I'm 9 miles east. 9 miles out. She says, my husband just pulled a 40-footer out of the mud. I said, okay, let's go. Oh my God. The cable guy and his wife, the totally coolest couple ever. And their little 8-year-old blonde little daughter, 8-year-old daughter, or 7 or whatever, 10. We go from the truck stop to their house. He starts throwing out all these chains and shovels, and she's grabbing stuff. Everybody's grabbing stuff. They're all excited. And then their neighbor comes from across the street, and they're like, huh? He's like, huh, I want to go. And he throws a bunch of stuff in his truck. And here we go, 2 trucks. We all drive out there. We make the right. We get onto the snow pool. Now, it's about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Sun might be starting to go down. We all make a right. Oh, I'm in the big truck with the cable guy, and their neighbors behind us, following us. Eventually, the neighbor pulls over. He honks and brakes the lights and stops and says, I'm done. I'm not going any further. He hops up with us. Okay, so when he gets in the car, at one point, the funniest thing that happened on the whole thing was that all of a sudden, there's a cable guy and his wife. I think I'm in the front seat. And he's driving, and she's in the back seat. But maybe the little girl was in between me and the driver, her dad. The girl's just going like this. She can't stop. Everybody's so excited. She doesn't stop from the moment we leave. We get about 6 miles down the road. All of a sudden, her mother says her name and says, would you please shut the F up? It was the most hilarious freaking thing. It was the most hilarious thing. Okay. We're following the sheriff's tracks, which is cool, and then we make the left, and man, every hump looks like my car. I can't tell, but then we see it. Okay, so he pulls up over here, and he says, okay. And this guy's all excited, the cable guy. Thanks, cable guy. He's a great guy. He pulls up behind the truck, and he's all excited because he got all this way without using 4-wheel drive yet. This guy, he's all happy. He goes around to the front of my truck. So he says, look, I'll pull your truck. I'll go in front of you, and you get in your car. I'll pull you around, and we'll go back the same way we came. So he gets in front of my truck, and he tries to pull it out without the 4-wheel drive, but he can't do it. Now, let me go just back for 1 second. When I woke up in the morning, my front tires had sunken into the mud. The mud was wrapped all the way to my tire and up all the way to my rim, the metal of the rim. It had completely sucked around the tire, and it went up around the rim. The whole tire sunk into the mud. And it was 26 degrees. It was all frozen. You know what's harder than ice? Mud and ice. That's cement. And I'm out there with my hatchet because I'm packing the back thinking I might get out, and packing the front of the trying to throw my chains and my clothes and everything in there. So I'm there with my axe banging on this to try and free the front tire in case I can get out, taking a chance any moment to pop that tire with one slap. He puts in 4-wheel drive, he pulls my truck around, he points me this way. He undoes me. I'm behind him, we're pointed out. He comes over and he says, you stay behind me. If anything happens, if you get stuck, we'll back up and we'll grab you again. I'm like, dude, I'm thinking I should go the way I came in because it seems to me that it was a lot easier where I came in back down there. He's like, no, dude, you follow me. Just don't run into the back of my truck like everybody, like all my friends have done. Try not to do that, he says. This guy hits it. I think we're doing an average of 30 miles an hour out that whole thing because he hit it. And he had a giant Chevy truck, I think, I'm not sure, with giant wheels like 4 feet off the ground. And so he started going, it's a pool the whole way. It's a pool the whole way. He starts going and he totally clears it for me. And I go right up behind him. But the only problem is he's nailing I can't see a thing from his rooster tail, is nailing me. And I back off and I make that rooster tail go right under my front bumper. and I have to keep it perfectly, and he's flying, he's parting all the water. It's like 3 or 4 feet deep, it seems like in some spots. I just time it perfectly, so that's just going, and if I time it perfectly under my bumper, it doesn't jump up, so I can see where he's parting for me. It's a smooth stream, as long as it dives under my bumper. It doesn't jump up, so I'm keeping it in the perfect spot. It's perfect. I'm going, we're flying. It's freaking 9 miles. Oh my God, all of a sudden, what does he do? He freaking hangs a right. He can see that he can't get through that pool that's coming. He makes a right, and I can't see it to the right. He makes a left. I can't go left. There's something, the timing was wrong for me. I was 2 seconds behind. I immediately go to the right. Now we're both flying along the right for like a mile. I'm keeping up with him. And you know, I'm playing it perfectly on the gas. You know, you got to hit it and slow down at certain times, actually. And he goes back in the middle, and I find my spot to the middle, and I get back behind him, and I line up that rooster tail. That guy brings me right to the end of the road. And the sun is just the end of sunset, okay? And I told him I'd give him $200, and this is like either the night before, this could be Christmas Day. I can't remember. It could have been the day before Christmas. Like I had to get home that night to have Christmas. We get out of the vehicles. They're so happy. They're all out of the car jumping around. They're all talking between themselves, you know. I was like, cool. And so I grab the $200 and I walk up to him. And he walks up to me and I hand it. He just looks at it. And I push it at him. It was that moment right there. I pushed it at him because I knew that it was going to cost him $200 to get those vehicles cleaned. Cable guy, thank you. That's my story for now. Please like and subscribe and comment if you want. See ya.